Okay, perfect. So, in this first episode, I just want to start by introducing our host, Roberto. Roberto, can you please, if you don't mind, introduce yourself? Share. I know that there was a little bit of an effort in the when we were advertising this event to get an idea that you are a tour guide and that you are a lifelong citizen of Mexico City. But please feel free to share a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, of course. Well, for me, it's a tremendous pleasure to be here, guys, and share with you some information about my background and my city, the place where I born. I born in Mexico City and rise. I born and rise in Mexico City in 1979. I'm 47-year old, 22 years working in tours. And bueno, uh, uh, before that, I've been working 3 years in a travel agency as a travel agent. So for me, it's a great honor to be here and share with you some information. Right? I've been working a few years in the Mayan Riviera, approximately 13, 14 years in the Mayan world, and I returned to Mexico City, 2016 approximately. Um, and bueno, pues I still working in tours. It's a a great job, a great experience, and I'm still learning about the vibrant city. Yeah, because sounds like with this background, with this experience, you don't have anything else to learn. But trust me that every single tour I learn something about my city. No, it's really impressive. This vibrant city, Mexico City, the Gran Tenochtitlan official name, Gran
Okay.
Tenochtitlan. And nothing, guys,
Okay.
just be welcome.
Thank you, Roberto. So funny that you mentioned that you are still learning a little bit more. I want to apologize to the audience today. In particular, I have not the best lighting. So if you join us for future, looks like we have someone else joining us. Pardon me, just a second, everyone. Okay, just one.
And it sounds like a TV or something, a radio, John.
Thank you.
Something.
Yes, yes.
You got it.
You are spot on, Roberto. Jeff, thank you. Jeff, I see you. We have Jeff on board. Thank you for joining us. So, Roberto, yes, there is. It is the World Cup in Mexico right now. And if anyone knows this, it's Roberto. I do have it in the background. Argentina is playing. And in Mexico, in case some of you don't know, we have a huge Argentinian population. So kind of let me start. Hopefully I can talk over that noise. Let me just start by asking you something, Roberto. I did notice that you said that you're still learning. So even after being 47 years old, spending the majority of your life in Mexico City, you feel like you're still learning.
Oh yes. And in this job, you have to be open to learn because Wes, I can share one example. Like 2 weeks ago, I received two friends, well, no, two travelers from Hong Kong, and they came with a huge list of restaurants and points. No, they were pretty interested and focused in the art. And being honest, bueno, pues I am a certified tour guide by the National Institute of Anthropology and History. And pues, I have years working in the Museum of Anthropology and archaeological sites. Is like my area, right? I really enjoy the history. But was those travelers, they asked me for something completely different, not to explore. I was exploring those places for the first time in my life. I found and I discovered a new restaurants that I never imagined that existed. So
Okay.
definitely in this job, I think that this is one of the most beautiful things of being tour guide. No, that you learn every single day, and every single tour is a different challenge. It's a different people with different ideas, etc. No.
Okay. Okay. Well, I just want to make a quick pause. Jeff, I see you just joined us. Jeff, do you mind if you can hear us? Can you share where are you based out of? I think, Brianna, you're a little bit in the background. You haven't gotten the chance to get to the keyboard. But Jeff, can you please share where are you joining us from?
I am from Oregon in the United States.
Okay. So Jeff, help me out here. My Oregon stereotype is that the weather is temperate and it's cloudy a lot. Am I far from the truth?
Well, it depends on what side of the state you're on. The west side, which is the coastal side, is what as you described. The east side, though, is high desert, so it can get it's pretty mild, but it can also get some heat days. But the winters are very cold and very long.
Okay, good to hear. So before we continue here, picking Roberto's brain a little bit, Jeff, could you share? Have you actually been to Mexico City before?
I have not been to Mexico City yet, but I will be there starting the 25th of June, and then coming home on the 2nd of July. Going to spend about 8 days there, meeting a friend from Colombia, and we're going to tour Mexico City and then go to spend a couple days in Zihuatanejo.
Okay, a little surf and turf, a little mix. Okay, so although I do have some questions prepared for Roberto, feel free to chime in, Jeff. If ever you think that there's something on the tip of your tongue and you just want to take advantage that you have this expert here, I really welcome you to chime in and ask away. Okay,
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, perfect. So I want to as well apologize. Roberto, you did detect that there is a little bit of background noise. So I'm going to ask you the first question, Roberto. It's a little bit, sometimes not the most comfortable one, but I want to just ask you anyway. For those like Jeff that have never really been to Mexico City, from the aspect of safety, how do you feel about Mexico City? How do you feel as far as where you should go, where you shouldn't go, any rules of thumb? How do you feel about that?
Well, let me tell you that this is a pretty common question. No, it's a pretty common question, and it's not exclusive of the people that want to come to Mexico City. As I said, I've been working as a travel agent, no, 2 or 3 years, and the local citizens of Mexico City, when they were traveling to big cities like Madrid, Lisboa, Paris, etc., and we were working in the organization of those tours in arrangements, was a pretty common question, no? How safety is, Las Ramblas in Barcelona, Paris, etc. But the same thing happened in Mexico. I always say that Mexico City is one of the largest cities in the world. We are 11 million people, 11 million people living here in the city officially. And in a metropolitan zone, approximately 23, 25 million people. So it requires that you just explore the place, explore the city with common sense. No, it's the best I can tell you about it. But the touristic areas, the talking about the historical center and the surrounding neighborhoods like Roma Norte, Roma Sur, Condesa, Santa Maria la Ribera, for example, San Rafael, Polanco is super, super safety. But always, I highly recommend to be careful in some of the areas in the night. No, that is away the touristic area. No, in the touristic areas, you'll be fine, 100%.
Okay, copy that. And I just want to chime in for everyone. Algeria just scored a goal against Argentina. So not really the main topic here, but just in case anyone is curious about that. Okay, so Ty, we do have you as well here, and I know you actually went to Mexico City and you were pretty honest about is it fair to say your surprises, the things that you didn't expect to be the way they were? I believe you mentioned before, for example, cleanliness. How did you feel about Mexico City? I know or to start with, what areas did you visit? And if you can give us just a brief recap as to your experience when it comes to safety, cleanliness, those typical first glances that we have when we travel.
Thank you, John. Yeah, I've been now, I think 4 or 5 times to Mexico City, and can just support what Roberto just said. If you apply common sense, it is pretty much the same as in any major city in the world. I come from Europe, and I wouldn't go into any back alleys in Amsterdam at 3 a.m. in the morning. So that same rule applies in Mexico City. With that being said, answering your question, I was positively surprised because, unfortunately, Mexico City has quite negative stereotypes, a lot of traffic, especially when you're living in Mexico or when you're asking Mexicans. They hardly speak well about their capital city.
I was about to tell you that you should give for our audience a little bit of perspective that you actually live in Mexico. So I think that's important.
Yes, well, that's why I get that feedback, or that's where I got that stereotype from. Besides that, it's one of the biggest cities in the world, but that's all I knew about it. A lot of traffic, a lot of people. The metro system is bad, and those are the stereotypes you get to hear. But if you travel there, and I have to admit, living there is different to traveling there. When I'm
Okay.
traveling, obviously, I go into the, as Roberto called them, tourist areas. I go downtown. You have here in your background, beautiful shot of the Angel of the Independence, which is the main alley. I rent bicycles with my wife there, and we go down that alley and we explore everything by bike, mostly everything, because we love it. And the infrastructure there in the city center is just made for that. So this is one thing I can highly recommend to any travelers. If you like bicycles, there are many rental stations. You download an app and you can explore it very easily.
Okay, so just if I can just get quickly interrupt here in case Jeff and Brianna want to know a little bit more, or those that get to hear this later. You download the app, and do you essentially just connect your credit card to the app, and
Yes.
and then you just select how much time you want to use it?
You use it, and it deducts it, and it's relatively cheap, let me say it like that. You count like 10 minutes to download the app and get everything done. I think you have to upload your ID because you might damage the bike or whatever. But it's pretty straightforward, and in every major city we do that, and it's fun. Like I said, if the weather is fine, obviously. We ran into a problem when we were out of bikes. We didn't find a rental station and had to get the bus. And that is as well as in all major cities. And nowadays, you can't just hop on the bus anymore and pay with some coins or with your credit card. You need to have a prepaid card there. But very nice experience of a very lovely lady. We had to travel 3 stations, and she took us on her card. We asked her, how does it work? We tried to figure it out. And that lady was so lovely. She took us on her card. We didn't pay a penny, or as you say, a pesos.
Okay.
That was really nice. Mexico has
So
a
she
lot
was
of... Please go ahead.
So she was an ambassador of Mexico City there, huh? For
Absolutely.
just a moment.
Absolutely. Now, I just wanted to finish very quickly. Mexico has a lot of the Mexico City area has a lot of green areas. The park of Chapultepec is lovely. If you get that bicycle and go just in there, you can spend almost the entire day there. Once you're there, get up to the castle or get a guide getting you to the castle. Speaking about Roberto, maybe he can elaborate later on a bit about that. But those were the things with me being relatively disorganized there. We were just for business leisure travel there and had to make the best out of it. And there are many museums there. The Zocalo, I think Roberto already mentioned it, the Museum of Anthropology, very interesting. I only highly can recommend to go to Mexico City. I'm really in love with that city.
Okay, love the enthusiasm. So for those that are watching, Kai is a little bit of a guest host here as well today, as somebody that has actually traveled to Mexico City. But with that said, Roberto, I have a really difficult question for you. I'm going to put you on the spot. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm born ready.
I love that. What is the most overrated place to visit in Mexico City? What is the very popular place that you, as a professional guide, you think that it's just not worth it?
Híjole, it's a great question. Híjole, I have to say that the Frida Kahlo, the museum, the Casa Azul of Frida Kahlo is definitely one of these things.
Okay.
What is the situation with Frida Kahlo? Just let me complement the idea. And I think that Frida Kahlo, I mean, I'm not saying that is bad, right? If you like the art, pues definitely Frida Kahlo is one of the most important and famous artists in Mexico, together with Diego Rivera, and is part of one moment of Mexico in the post-revolution of Mexico. It's Frida Kahlo, Diego Rivera, Jose Clemente Orozco, and all those big artists, right, paint the city, and I mean, is part of this a group of fantastic artists, definitely. Um, but in my opinion, now in the nowadays it's pretty difficult to get a ticket. It's the one of the most expensive tickets, and in some seasons you have to. I mean, it's impossible to buy a ticket with Frida Kahlo. Obviously, now we have the problem, the situation that some, as you know, some organizations they buy the tickets in advance and they raise the prices, and it's impossible to get there. The government of Mexico they open the new like a second option, a second choice that is the Casa Roja, the Red House, where you have some photographies and letters of Frida Kahlo, and I think that is a great option. I mean, because Coyoacan, the neighborhood where you visit these museums, is very but very good. Let me tell you that the traditional market of Coyoacan is, in my opinion, one of the highlights of the city. Definitely one of the best places where you can eat. Where you can eat with 200 pesos, you find churros, you find great coffee, enchiladas, quesadillas,
Okay,
and
Roberto.
after
Pardon me.
just finishing after the market, one walking tour around the place is excellent. But yeah, back to the question is Frida Kahlo.
Okay, okay. So we must have gotten under your skin, Brianna. I see that you're chiming in. You're a little bit silent and mysterious for a moment there, but once Roberto mentioned Frida Kahlo, and I just want to take advantage. Kai, okay, perfect. You shared the link. I do get a pretty clear noise when someone wants to join, so I'll be on alert for that. Thank you for noticing that. Brianna, go ahead. We're ready for you. Your microphone.
Yeah, she commented that she's having challenges to unmute her microphone. Brianna, I'm not sure.
There we go.
Okay.
There you go.
Just real quick, me and some other friends, we were trying to join. I was able to get in, but under my daughter's account. But I have another friend who's trying to get in, but we're technologically challenged, so we were expecting to be Facebook Live. But is there any way that I could send her a link? Or
Yes.
Thank you. Yes,
John already
Brianna.
shared it here in the chat, and I will post it. I will post it on your Facebook post again.
Okay, I'll have her check that then.
Thank you, Brianna.
Okay, Brianna, for a second, I thought that you were actually protesting the Frida Kahlo hot take that Roberto had there for a second. Okay.
Oh, no, I actually already got tickets, so, and they weren't very expensive. I didn't think.
Okay, that's the important part. You did get tickets. So just to give you a little bit of context, getting tickets is difficult. So fortunately for you, that was not difficult.
Yes.
Okay, that makes a big difference. So we really appreciate you for helping out those that want to join with sharing this link. So as a little bit of context, we were originally going to do a live stream. Unfortunately, the add a co-host feature on Facebook was just not working. So we were compelled to do it this way, but I think this is pretty comfortable too. So thank you for sharing that. And Jeff, before we move on, you have a little bit of pushback in case your friend from Colombia wants to visit the House of Frida Kahlo. You can say that I checked out the webinar, and Roberto, the professional, he said that that's the #1 ranked. So Brianna, can you do us a favor? Can you please share in the group after you check it out? Can you share in the group your honest opinion to see what you think versus Roberto's opinion?
Sure.
Awesome. So very brave of you, Roberto. I know that I put you on the spot there. So Roberto, in the spirit as well, for those that have never been, what do you think is a place to get an amazing taco that is not a popular place that folks would tend to not really hear about on social media? That little secret taco place that you can really that you can bet your reputation on.
This is my specialty. Let me tell you that I am a great taco eater. You see. And actually, in K-Tours, we normally recommend El Gran Abanico is the #1. El Gran Abanico is my favorite taqueria in all Mexico City, right? And I have some other secrets that I don't know, I prefer to keep in secret. No.
Okay.
El Gran Abanico, I recommend 100% El Gran Abanico. is very, very good. The tacos, for example, that we can visit in the Mercado de Jamaica, the market of Jamaica, are really good. But definitely number one, El Gran Abanico. I recommend 100%. I highly recommend El Gran Abanico.
Okay, so I am personally a sucker. I mean, we all like all sorts of tacos, but I am a sucker for a really, really good al pastor taco. So if I go to El Gran Abanico,
Ah, El Pastor.
I'm in good hands.
Oh, yes, yes. But bueno, let me tell you that if we're talking about tacos al pastor, I have another one that is really good. And the name of this one is El Huequito. That is just a few steps away the Plaza Mexico, where the bull fights. It's a fantastic, fantastic, famous taco al pastor in Mexico. Definitely. I
Okay,
mean,
okay.
Dua Lipa, maybe you heard about it, but Dua Lipa came like 2 months ago and she opened the Dua Lipa Taco Factory in
Okay, well,
Roma Norte.
something tells me that I'm not really the niche client of the Dua Lipa taco place. Jeff, are you going to visit the Dua Lipa taco place? Is that going to be on your list?
No, unfortunately, it's not. We don't have enough time. We are going to do tacos for sure. We're going to do street food, and going to see the pyramids. Going to do a hot air balloon ride. Oh gosh, I've got a whole itinerary for the whole 8 days. But and I should tell you, I also have tickets for the Frida Kahlo Casa. So we're doing that. And this is going to be our kind of our introductory trip to Mexico City. There's so much to do and see there that it takes a long time, and we just had 8 days, and by the way, a good friend of mine here in on the Oregon coast where I live recommended to stay in Condesa. So we're going to stay in Condesa. I know Roma Norte is right there as well, and so we're going to be a tourist, but that's okay. That's what we're going there for, is tourism.
Exactly. I just want to
Jeff,
I'm trying to provide a little pushback for those that use the word tourist as a negative connotation. I kind of look at it like this: if it's where people go when they have the smallest amount of time, it must be the best part. So Jeff, call me a tourist anytime. I like visiting the best parts.
I have a question for Jeff. Have you heard about the Lucha Libre, and are you considering that?
I did see that when I was doing my online research, but it's not in my itinerary. But we have, I built in some downtime because we do want to just relax and wander around Condesa and Roma Norte and in that, that area. So what is it again?
The Lucha Libre, the Mexican wrestling. I have
Oh,
been
that's
there,
right. Yeah, I did see
and
that.
one of the most exciting things. I had zero expectations, and I left there super excited. It was great.
I appreciate the recommendation. We might have, we like to go out to the clubs and dance and have a good time. So maybe one night we'll skip the clubs and we'll go to Lucha Libre. I did see
Or
it.
start the night at the Lucha Libre, and after that going to the clubs. I don't know,
nice.
Roberto, what time are the Lucha Libres starting and ending, just to give Jeff a better understanding?
Tuesday and Friday, the show starts at 8:30 p.m. and ends around 11:30. Sundays is 6:30 p.m. At 6:30 starts and is finishing around 9 p.m. approximately. The show longs like 3 hours average, but it's Tuesday, Friday, and Sundays.
I love it.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
That was a great recommendation to do the pregame warm up at the Lucha Libre. Look at Kai flexing a little Mexico City muscle with that one. Okay, want to welcome Martha. Martha, thank you for joining us. We know it's a little bit difficult, so we're glad that you're here. Brianna was like your advocate there. I want Martha to get in this, and this isn't going on any further without Martha. So we're glad that we have you here. So I take it, Brianna and Martha, you are going to Mexico City soon. When are you going? I think your microphone is off, Martha, or maybe Brianna, you can answer it, or Martha, you can unmute. Okay, it looks like maybe you have a little internet issue.
Sorry, it's actually Brianna's mother, Rosie. but for some reason I had to go using my daughter's account. But Marta and I are comadres, and we live in California, and we're actually taking a trip. Her husband, my son, and my son's two friends. They are going to watch a World Cup soccer match on, I believe it's Wednesday of next week. But we're going to be there for 6 days, so we're also going to do the touristy things.
Okay, okay, that makes all the sense in the world. So before I continue with some good questions that I have prepared for Roberto, does do any of you, Rosie, you want to ask? Rihanna, do you have any questions on the tip of your tongue? No worries if you don't in the meantime. Okay, Roberto. So
Yes.
I want to ask you now. So you've already made it clear that in your opinion, the Frida Kahlo Casa Azul is maybe your version of the most overrated. I think for you it probably has a lot to do as a professional. For you, it's the complexity of getting tickets. You probably consider it what it is versus how tricky the tickets are. So let me ask you this: if the tickets were easier, would you give it a better ranking?
Well, I think that the problem is that the people come with a very high expectations of the Frida Kahlo, the Casa Azul Museum, and obviously the people expect to see the work of Frida Kahlo, right? And the work of Frida Kahlo is not in this museum. Recently, the government announced that the Frida Kahlo work is in another famous museum in the south of the city, very near to Xochimilco, is in the Museum Dolores Olmedo, that, by the way, is a beautiful place. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. It's a huge house, and for different things and different situations, they have like the rights of the work of Frida Kahlo, right? Uh, I mean, in simple words, if you are fan of Frida Kahlo, and you will want to visit the Casa Azul, just remember that you will visit the place where she born, rise, and die, right? But the work of Frida Kahlo is in another place, and it's traveling around the world. If you, for example, are super fan of Frida Kahlo, I recommend, for example, to visit also the Museum of the Modern Art that is between the Museum of Anthropology and the famous castle of Chapultepec in Mexico. And they have original pieces of Frida Kahlo. Actually, they have probably the most famous piece of Frida Kahlo, the work of Frida Kahlo, that calls Las Dos Fridas. So, conclusion, I think that is interested if you are super fan of Frida Kahlo and you want to see the place where she born and rise and die, etc. If you want to see uh, pues her work of Frida Kahlo, Dolores Olmedo is the good one, but remember that you have to check with them directly in the museum if the work of Frida Kahlo is there, because sometimes the work of Frida Kahlo is traveling around the world. No, is the situation. I mean, it's not only for the tickets for because the ticket is complicated to get it. The situation is that many people think that they will see the work of Frida Kahlo in Casa Azul.
Okay, I see what you mean. So basically, somebody's expecting to see a painting, and then they get to see the chair, and all of a sudden, the chair doesn't do it for them like the painting does. Okay, so that's good to
That's
know.
correct.
So Roberto, now we're gonna do now since we heads or tails, we did the heads. What's the tails? What is your favorite place, Roberto? What do you think is your favorite place to visit in Mexico City? That is the absolute must.
Oh, bueno, my favorite place definitely is the National Museum of Anthropology and History. And when I have the chance, I always try to recommend the historical center of Mexico. Definitely, I think that you shouldn't miss the historical center of Mexico and do one walking tour, starting maybe in Templo Mayor, where you can see the Museum of the Aztecs. You can visit the cathedral. The Metropolitan Cathedral is the largest cathedral in America. No, it's beautiful. It's really, really pretty. Um, and not far from the cathedral, because you can do one walking tour through the Avenue Francisco y Madero, visiting the Casa Iturbide, that is a beautiful house with Baroque architecture. And very near is the Palace of Fine Arts, el Palacio de Bellas Artes, that is definitely one of the most beautiful buildings that we have in all the country, I can tell you. I think that the Museum of Anthropology, the Castle of Chapultepec, that the official name of the castle is National Museum of History of Mexico, by the way, and the Historical Center, I think that is the best you can do.
That was very good. I think I was gonna erroneously assume that you were gonna say the Teotihuacan archaeological site, being that it's in your background and I know and that you love history. Brianna, please feel free, go forward. We're listening. Hey, Brianna, did you hit? Okay, there we go.
Yes, those museums that you just mentioned, are those the ones that are in Polanco?
Yes, yes, correct. Both are in Polanco. Um, And bueno, my personal recommendation is to start in the Museum of Anthropology and don't try to finish it. Don't try to finish it because the Museum of Anthropology of Mexico City is beautiful, it's pretty interesting, but it's huge. It's huge. If you have only 2 or 3 days, I highly recommend to visit 2 or 3 rooms. You can start with the Mayan culture that is fantastic, the collection of the Museum of Anthropology. Then you can visit the collection of Teotihuacan, and finally the Aztec, no, the room, the hall of the Mexica civilization or Aztec that is the same. Actually, you can have a great lunch in the Museum of Anthropology. They recently opened a great restaurant where you can have a break, you can grab a coffee, you can rest for a little. And walking from the Museum of Anthropology, let's say 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, you can visit the second one, no? That is the Castle of Chapultepec. In the Castle of Chapultepec, you will see the independence of Mexico, the Reforma period, and the independence. No? Both in the same day. In the same day, I think that that is a good idea. No, and if you have some energy, if your energy is good after these museums, you can visit the Museum of the Modern Art that is between, and you can see the work of Frida Kahlo, 2 or 3 pieces originals of Frida Kahlo. The Museum of Modern Art is small, and I think that is a good complement of this idea.
Okay, that was very good. So a little museum combination there. We love, Roberto, that you mentioned that, like, pro tip, don't try to do the whole museum on the same visit. That's a very very good pro tip there.
Yeah. The Museum of Anthropology is, repeat, is one of my favorite places in all Mexico. Definitely, it's a beautiful place. But yeah, it's huge. It's really big. And after 1 hour walking, you start to confuse the information, the periods. That's why I always I recommend to do maybe three rooms. I think three rooms is a good idea. Uh, and in the same area you have the castle. So I think that in one day you can visit both museums perfectly, and it's better.
Okay, perfect. Jeff, thank you for raising your hand. Feel free to share. We're listening.
I wanted to circle back to something Roberto said about the Frida Kahlo Museum. I was expecting to see her art or some of her art there. Is that not the case?
The art of Frida Kahlo is in the Museum Dolores Olmedo, is the name of this museum, and it's very near to the canals of Xochimilco, right? In the Casa Azul of Coyoacán, the famous museum of Frida Kahlo, that has a little nickname that is the Casa Azul, the Blue House, is the place where she born, raised, and died. And there are some of their dresses, of the dresses of Frida Kahlo, right? You can see her bed and some other interesting things, no? I think the decoration of the museum is really good. It's a pretty place. But if you want to see her paintings, definitely you must go into the Dolores Olmedo Museum, or repeat in the modern art. There are some of those paintings of Frida Kahlo, Las Dos Fridas, and I can't remember the second one, but it's in the Museum of the Modern Art.
Okay, that was a very
Great.
good.
Thank you so much, Roberto.
No, you're welcome.
That was a great question, Jeff. So yes, I think that, I mean, I'm just kind of in the dark here guessing. I think probably 95 out of 100 people that visit La Casa Azul are probably expecting a work of art or two or three. So yes, it's good to know. I guess for me, for example, as a sports fan, it's like saying I went to the house where Michael Jordan was born and raised and died. So okay, that's a very good very good perspective on that, Roberto. Thank you.
No, 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 you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, perfect, Roberto. So I have one more very quick question for you, if it's okay. So
Por favor.
how long in total have you been a tour guide? It's like a two-part question.
Oof, this is it's a good question. It's a good question. Pues imagine my first tour. I remember that my first tour was in August 25 in the year 2001. Imagine that. Imagine that. See,
Okay,
around 22 years approximately, I did around 7,000 excursions. As I said in the beginning, because I spent approximately 14, 15 years in the Mayan Riviera. I went to Chichen Itza 100 times, to Tulum, Cobay, Dalam. I had a chance to explore and dive also in countries like Belize, Guatemala. I went to Tikal a couple times as a tour guide. But remember, I born and raised in Mexico City, so it's interesting. It's a little weird the form that I start to work as a tour guide because I study in La Salle, in the University of Cancun, is where I finished my certifications as a tour guide. Right? Curiously, born and rising in Mexico City, I study in the University of Cancun, and once I finished, immediately I started to work in the Mayan world. That I'm super proud, super proud about it, because the Mayan civilization is fantastic. And when I returned to Mexico City in 2016, and it was the same. I started to learn, right? Because repeat, this monster city has tons of restaurants and museums, and pues doesn't matter how many years you drive through those streets. Every single day, trust me, I learn something different about my place, about my city, and listen, it's
okay,
a tremendous honor for me to share with you some experiences
okay.
and knowledge. Mhm.
Very good. So Kai has a question. So you've been at this for a long time. Before I ask the second part of that question, please, Kai, feel free to share. What is your question?
I honestly forgot that you had a second part. It was so elaborate, the first part. Please go ahead, finish your second part question, and I will follow up on that.
Perfect. So Roberto, putting you on the spot one more time, what do you think is one of the most typical mistakes that your guests do when it comes to planning their trip to Mexico City? What do you think is a very typical or the most common mistake?
Great question.
Number one, I think that they many times don't study the city, no, and they want to do everything in 1 week, and this is impossible. They finish very tired and frustrated. I recommend to search us in Facebook, the K Tours, right? And we have a great team of customer service, and we can help you without any compromise. We can help you 100%. We love to answer questions every time, and we can help you 24/7 to have a good plan to visit Mexico City. I think that the number one is this: not that people want to cover everything, all Mexico City in 1 week, and number two is to come and try to explore the site without any plan. No, without any plan. I mean, Mexico City, repeat, is one of the largest cities. We have many museums, and it's a great idea if you, so I don't know, if you make a list, if you make a plan before.
Okay, that was very good, Roberto. And a little bit of, I feel a little bit of a get out of my head, because I was going to ask, how is it that someone can get a hold of you and ask for you? So Kai, thank you for waiting there. Please feel free to ask. What is the question that?
No, first of all, that was a great question. What are the common mistakes, or what's Roberto experiencing? Because obviously, in if I got it right, 24, almost 25 years of experience, you have met thousands of people. And I wanted to ask you, what are the top three things where you say you can easily do that on your own in such a beautiful city? And what are the top three things where you would say it is, I mean, obviously you as a tour guide, but then on the other hand, I have been on exploring the city without a tour guide and with a tour guide, and it makes a tremendous difference if you have a local guide who knows everything about his beloved city. So, what are the top three things everybody could do without a guide, and what are the top three things where you would say you highly recommend to do it with a guide?
Well, definitely Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan is 45 minutes away the city, and when we want to learn and understand the traditions, the history of Mexico, and actually the America. No, when I say America, I'm talking about the whole continent, of course. Teotihuacan is very impressive, and it's not my mind. It's considered one of the most successful capitals of the entire world. No, it's definitely one of the places where you should to hire a tour guide, certified tour guide, preferably. Definitely, the historical center is another point that another place that you should to hire a tour guide. Uh, the situation with the historical center is that we have many interesting things to do.
You
We
mean
have
the
the
city
museums, we have
center? Sorry,
the Zócalo or the Centro Histórico, the historical center.
okay.
I think that we have the traditional walking tour in the historical center that starts in Templo Mayor, the cathedral. But there is a tomb, for example, of Hernán Cortés, that if you are a fan of the history, you can visit the tomb of Hernán Cortés. And behind the tomb of Hernán Cortés is the first hospital made it in America in 1524. If I'm not wrong, is the second oldest hospital in America. There are many structures with impressive art, Baroque art, or arte Novohispan art. It's very interesting. There are many restaurants, right? The fine arts that I mentioned. Number one is Teotihuacan. Number two is the historical center, definitely, and the museums. The Museum of Anthropology, and in the same day visiting the Museum of History, that is the castle, the Castillo de Chapultepec. I think that those three are. It's a great idea if you go with a tour guide. The rest of the experiences, maybe the taco, no, if you want to visit one taqueria or two taquerias, is something that you can do by your own, no. In the lucha libre, for example, because it's too noisy, it's very noisy, no. You don't need you can't actually expand pretty much in the arena, right? And bueno, in the last years, is pretty famous. The famous mezcal tasting and bars and all those things. So I think that you can do it by your own. When you book a tour with K-Tours, repeat, we have a customer service team, and for free we can share one list of bars and restaurants and places where you can do by your own, and some places that we recommend definitely to go with a tour guide, certified tour
Thank
guide.
you. Hey, but Roberto, that is very nice that you mentioned that you guys actually do help with stuff for people to do on their own. That's great. Jeff, please feel free. We're listening.
Yeah, I wanted to clarify with Roberto, when he says city center, is that Zocalo or is that somewhere else in Mexico City? Oh,
Yeah,
perfecto,
you're right.
perfecto.
Zócalo.
Yeah, Zócalo.
Centro Histórico.
Okay. Gracias. Thank you.
Hey, so I just wanted to chime in as the certified nerd that I am when you mentioned Hernan Cortez. I think to me, that's one of the most interesting figures in the entire history. When you think of, in a way, you would even argue the founder of Mexico City. When you think that somebody like him was not, if you're into history, he was after he had done all of the heavy lifting, Spain didn't let him go back. He was considered a little bit of a loose cannon that didn't follow orders. And it was not until he passed away that Spain granted his wishes and sent his remains to Mexico City. Something I think is pretty interesting.
Oh yes, and for example, 2 blocks away, the cathedral. 2 blocks away the cathedral, there is it's actually into one templo into the church of the Templo de Nazareno. But in this temple, right in the corner, right, is where we have one of the most fantastic moments in the entire human history. That is the moment when Hernan Cortés is meeting the king of the Aztecs, Moctezuma. It's right in this place is where they have this meeting, no? So
Wow.
it's something that you can explore, and 99% of the travel agencies don't have idea that place exists, you know. And in my tours, always in my tours and the tours that I always recommend, definitely that corner is one of my favorite corners in all the city. You know, it's very interesting.
Okay, that was very good. So we did plan on this to be 30 minutes, just being mindful of everyone's time. But I see that we did go over, which is sometimes a good thing. So before we do kind of wrap this up, first off, we want to wish everybody traveling to Mexico City a fantastic trip. Does anyone have any additional just last minute questions before we wrap this up? Okay, Jeff, we're listening. Please feel free.
So with the World Cup happening in Mexico during the month of June, how difficult is it going to be to enjoy Zocalo? Is it going to be pretty crowded, or is it going to be okay? That may be hard to anticipate, but that is one of my concerns.
Well, yeah, from being honest, yeah, it's Mexico City always is super chaotic and crowd. The situation is that with the World Cup, we have the fan fest from the cathedral, right? That is where the people can see for free the games and enjoy the games. And but probably you will find more people at the normal, right? The normal seasons. But you can visit the highlights. I mean, the Museum of the Aztecs, the Templo Mayor is open. Also, the cathedral. All the attraction and all the touristic attractions around the Centro Histórico are open. And yeah, being honest, you will find more people than the normal seasons, but yeah, everything is open. You'll be fine.
Is it worth telling Jeff what he can expect with the traffic? Is that something?
It's a great question. It's a great question. But let me tell you, because in the last weeks, some of my clients asked me about the famous protest. Maybe you heard about it, the syndicate of teachers that we have in the downtown, no, in the historical center. And yes, this is something that is pretty common in Mexico. No, it's the center. Remember that right in the Centro Histórico lives the president, and we have the politic chamber 2 or 3 blocks away. Just I want to say that this is the normal life of the Mexico. Always we have traffic in Centro Histórico. Sometimes using the subway is a good idea. No, if it's complicated for you to get an Uber or one taxi, the subway is very safe and it's a good option. But the most important thing that we most have to say is that it's safe, and the touristic attraction are working normally. No.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining us. Jeff, you've had some great questions. Brianna, thank you so much. Rosie, Kai, thank you so much. Before I let everyone go, I just want to share that I am sharing a link in case you want to get a hold of K Tours. And Roberto, can someone ask for you specifically?
Well, you can find us. You can find us in Facebook. I just want to finish saying that you can find us in Facebook or in ktours.com. And please, if you have any question about Mexico City, we'll be super happy to answer, to help you to have a good plan in Mexico.
Awesome. Okay, so Roberto, just in appreciation of the time that you spent with us today, I actually took the link and I shared it in the chat, just in case anyone wants to get a hold of us, especially for those things like those nice tips about places for one to visit on their own, and in case maybe for you in this trip, or maybe for friends that you know that are traveling to the area, if you would like to recommend Roberto. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us, everyone. We hope you guys have fantastic trips, and we hope that you share it in the Facebook community to hopefully help out others in their travels as well.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
everyone. Have a
everyone.
wonderful night. All right,
Thank
Martha.
you. Gracias.
Bye.
Robert, bye.
Bye.